one of the main questions kids ask is, how am I going to apply this to the real world? And this really helps us. Like, you don't have to ask the question, it's right there. Like, you're learning it. You're learning math and real world problems at the same time.
I will say that with this type of math class, I have been feeling like I've done like more successful in this type of class than what I usually do, and like, you know, like a regular class with like equations and stuff, because you learn about like, you learn the same stuff but in like a way easier for us to understand, in a more realistic way for us to understand, rather than just like, oh, here's the problems, do it, like add it up, divide, multiply, all that stuff. And it helps, like, you know, it helps build, I would say it helps build like, what's like, remembrance for when we get older, because like, you know, people, one of the main things that people say is that, oh, we'll never use this when we in the real world, so why do we do it? And then this class shows what you will need it for in the real world, and how it will be helpful for you when you are older. And I'll get like some of the stuff that we did learn, it will be helpful for when you are older. And it's not just like basic stuff to where it's like you're confused the whole time, it's not really making sense, it's not clicking, and you're struggling, and it's like, oh, you're like going on apps and stuff to just get the equations done and stuff. It's not that. It's like really engaging, and you actually got to think.
With the project, it's more, I want to do this project because it's interesting.
Okay.
With the work, it's more just, okay, I'll do this, but I really don't find this interesting.
Okay.
Compared to all the other math classes I took, this would be one of the better ones, because I never liked math, and it's still iffy with me. But, you know, the teacher and everything, and the students and the environment, it's like really a really good class for me.
Before I was in Miss Gordon's class, like middle school and all of that, I'd never really passed the math class until I got into this hands-on class. Because I didn't used to like math, but this class made me like math more, because it's like more projects and stuff like that, more hands-on things.
Well, I'm gonna say I think I learned more in this class, because I remember in my 8th grade I couldn't understand what's basic math. I came to high school and I wasn't terrible with math. Like, now math is one of my favorites, because besides the teacher, because she always helped me what I need, and you know, I'm always there too because she always helped me. And now math is like one of my favorite subjects now I could take. I think I can learn more in this class than I usually. So now even my mom thinks that I'm more ahead of math than I usually was.
I feel like learning geometry in general is an overall more helpful skill to me than algebra. However, if this class hadn't been teaching geometry, I still would be taught more helpful skills to life than in a traditional math class. Being stuck in a traditional math class doesn't allow me to explore what it means on an everyday level to use the math skills taught. This class goes beyond testing me to see if I understand the material, and challenges me to experiment with the real life everyday projects in the experiments we've had in this class. By specifically using the skills in a real world setting, it's easier to see how to use them every day. I do feel more successful in this class than in a general math class. My grades reflect this. Before taking this class, I had trouble completing the NWEA test or any of the last year final exams. I feel a lot more accomplished having completed the geometry final this year with a B+.
Well, personally, for me, math has always been easy, but now it's easy and fun. So it's actually something I look forward to now, instead of just being your basic like numbers and just like math for me before was really just one-on-one with the teacher and I, but like now it's really more of like interactions. I get to do more hands-on things, which is really fun for me.
I absolutely love it. Like, for me, I see it as a game changer because she, the way she explains it, the way that she technically hypes up the class, and overall, both Miss Gordon and the work that she's assigning now, it's amazing. I feel more more pleased with math because before, like for starting middle school, because that's when like math really started to get really hard for me. I didn't really like it because one, it sounded generic. The teachers were boring, and all the they would assign tests all the time. But for Miss Gordon, it's different. It's more like I feel more upbeat into the class. I feel more there. Because
Yeah, so I really like the project-based learning. I know that really early on, I was quarantined, but we did this project where we did like a grocery list type of thing, and then we had to like take like what we had to buy, and then figure out the taxes and stuff like that. I really like the way that we can see that, like process it like as like a homework type of thing, and then we can obviously like use it on like later in life. Personally, I think as the projects as like one big like word problem, like I always struggled with word problems, but like doing the curriculum, it helped me get better at them.
That's nice.
If I was to take a regular math class during quarantine, it would have been a little bit harder because, like the projects make the math easier. Like it helps you understand more things.
Oh, it was fun. I had first period, so I had to wake up and do math. And other classes, we were just honestly, it was the only classes that were like boring were my other ones, except for math and English. So this class and English class were the only ones we would talk and have group discussions and do like actual class, if that makes sense, and like actually like do something. And the way I still was able to learn, even real life, even at home during the whole pandemic, was crazy and it was fun. I still liked it personally.
The t-shirt design project, because we got to make our own t-shirts, and it taught me how to just like when you're selling things, it taught me how to like keep that organized. We had to stay within a budget, and then we had to see like how many shirts we wanted to see if like we were gonna profit off of it and stuff like that.
And like personally, my favorite project we did this year, it was the second one, so I think it was the t-shirt. We had to design it because I wanted to like wear it, like part of math literacy. Because I would tell people, they're like, "Oh, how's math going?" And I was like, "Oh, well, math is." I was like, "We don't really learn math, but we learn math for the real world." They're like, "What does that mean?" I was like, "The real world, like math, like how to buy a car, like we did freshman year." And then that, and then like this year, it's fun. We have really good conversations this year, and it's really fun in that class. So.
My favorite project was a fish tank project because it seemed like it was a real world situation that actually included math. So yeah, it made sense to me.
There's one project we did. It was a tessellation project. That was my favorite one of all time because I got to put my math skills and my art skills to work in that type of project.
I believe my most favorite one was the Moneyball one, and the reason for the Moneyball one is because you really had to I felt like I had more of a connection with like real life, like more like real life problems.
The critical thinking that they make us that we have to use in order to answer the questions was just amazing. And I learned how to pay bills, maintain my money, and just do real life situations instead of just why Michael had 5 apples, he gave his friend 2, and we have stuff like that.
My math class this year has really helped me to feel more confident in my learning abilities. I understand now that it's okay to ask questions. I didn't know what to ask at first, if I had trouble even starting the equation. It's okay not to know things. It shouldn't be embarrassing to ask questions. This class helped me realize that.
Yeah, like he was saying with like money and learning how to like actually use it and like taxes. And like that's some things that, I didn't really learn when I was younger, but now I'm kind of like understanding like you gotta like use the percentages and for the future and like make a plan actually for like money.
Yes, I can definitely say like my more social skills and my like group working skills especially was one thing that I really wanted to work on. And I'm always working in a group or at least a pair in here, so it gets me like able to be more open to other suggestions into making one good project and stuff.
I'll talk about communication. I know a lot of these projects are really awesome. Like the house project, we got it in like groups of 3. I know me and Nate worked together on that one, and it was really good to see like how we could like budget our finances with another person as well, not just yourself, but like if you're working with someone to get a house or something, it taught me kind of how to work with someone else on that. It was awesome.
For sure, because I'm always energetic and enthusiastic in that class, and like we're always like loud and very we share our thoughts a lot in this class.
So you're energetic and you share your thoughts in Miss Gordon's class. Do you do that in any other class?
Not as much as I do it in Miss Gordon's class, because her class is kind of like a comfortable, safe space for some of us there. So, yeah.
It really helped us do critical thinking as well. Just because, like, going back to what Travis was saying with the house project, you used these resources that you had, like you used Google, for example, you used Zillow looking for houses, CarMax looking for cars, and you used them and then adapted them to the problem. So it really helped you think outside the box.
Thanks.
Yes, because we do a lot of group work, so it makes me have like give me more patience, and like it helps me understand how to talk to people better.
Definitely, it's something I would recommend to my friends. I already have recommended it to my friends, and some of them did join sophomore year with me. It is really fun. I also heard about it from like other people too, so that's why I went into it. And yeah, I would recommend it.
Reconsider. That's simply put, reconsider. Like it'll help a lot.
All right.
Look on the bright side, look what you're gonna gain and learn from this project. Like real world like problems with the project.
All right.
And for people that don't like math or is that find this like that's not their favorite subject, this project will change your mind and help you improve.
It really motivates you to do the work in general, because like how Jonathan said, like with the old style of doing math, like you feel obligated to do it, rather with this new way, this new form, it opens up your eyes in general, and it's not an obligation.
I would tell them to pick this class because it makes math more understandable.
To join, obviously. Just honestly prepare to speak and communicate with others and do projects and have communication key. Prepare to get out of your shell a little bit more than being all into yourself, just like a regular math class. You're writing the book and turning it, like actually communicating with Miss Gordon and with everyone around you and seeing if we're on the same page and learning the same projects and having fun at the end of the day, honestly.
Yes, I feel like I'm doing a lot better this semester than previous years on like terms of understanding the subject. Because before in like 6th and 7th grade, and when we got in quarantine, I'll be honest, I wasn't really understanding it, but I knew how to do it. But now I kind of understand like the subject and why, Because I always asked why, do this, and now I have the reason why, because the future, and like how we had a house, that really was interesting for me to see like the salary we had to get and like the mortgage. I learned a lot about that too.
That's great.
Excellent. Yeah. I feel like I learn it like what we're learning. I feel like what we're doing, I learn it better because like connecting something you'll do in real life or something in real life to math, like I have a connection to it and I have a reason to remember it. Like if I remember what we did at the house project, like I can remember that better because I was picking, like just doing the project. I felt more connected to it instead of just doing math problems, writing down the answer, all that. I felt more connected, which helped me learn it better.
How I used to be in math class was really bad. I'm gonna be honest. I failed the first semester. Compared to now, I have a B and higher.
Definitely. It's honestly really nice in the way that it's making me develop a different method of doing math instead of it's now I can easily do it more in my head, like, and faster too. So it definitely did help me develop a mental math skill.
It's very similar to what she said. It was really, I know it was hard for a lot of people to make the switch, but it helped a lot going from this basic algebra 2 to this project-based learning, which really opened up our eyes, I think, if that makes sense. Not only helping in the future, but similarly to what Darion said with the robotics team, it helps in the present as well. I think that's awesome.
That's great.
I feel more successful in this math class because it actually makes sense to me.
Yeah, when I talk about well, it kind of differs actually. It depends. Like some of my friends, we can relate on it, and then some others, it's just like they're on a different I think it's the same thing, but just different ways of going about it. So when I tell them, oh, I'm doing a project on solving math, they're like, what? We're doing the same thing, but it's just on paper. I'm like, yeah. So I feel like that's the only difference, but it's the same.
Yes, I already signed up for that class.
I love that. Now, is that class required, or is that something you're just taking because you're choosing to?
It's not required. I just chose it to have an extra year of math.
You know, not many students would just choose an extra year of math. Can you explain why you chose that extra year of math?
I chose it because I feel like I still need some help in my skill level in math, and also I just feel not ready to leave Miss Gordon behind yet.
That is fantastic. You guys all mentioned the house project.
Yes.
Did any of you run into the situation where you had your budget and you bought your house and you're like, but I can't afford my car now, or on this budget, with this occupation, I can't afford the house I want? Did any of you have that experience? Tell us about that experience.
So one of the times I know the first time I ran through it took me 2 tries. The first time I ran through it, I think I put too much because I bought my house and then I had the 10% down payment and that was fine and I had budget. But then I had like a lot left over on my down payment, so I pretty much paid off the car. But I feel like then the house price was too much monthly, so I feel like I could have put more money into the house. And then obviously that project told me what to do in the future now to not invest too much.
I like that.
Invest more into the down payment of the house, if anything.
Yeah, great. Anybody else have that experience?
When I bought my house, it was very expensive, to afford, and the money I invested into my, same as Travis, the money I invested into my car, I could use to invest in my house. So I ended up not using it, buying a car. I just I had to. It wasn't possible for me to maintain the car in my house.
Okay.
So I ended up using the money from the car that I was using and put it into my bills and stuff and maintain my own house.
Okay.
So I wasn't able to have a car, but I was able to keep my house.
All right. So that project allowed you to choose from a location here locally or anywhere else in the country. Did anyone choose to go somewhere else in the country?
In my second option, I tried to go somewhere else in the country, and I found that the price in the house is a lot more in different places because this is different. In Nevada, it's a lot cheaper than in LA, and the farther away you get from the city, basically better location, the better the price is gonna be, and the not the worst, but if it's kind of just a normal neighborhood, it's gonna be less. So I found a nice house in a normal neighborhood because I don't really need to be right by the beach because I don't want to pay $3 million just to be at the beach.
Get that.
It kind of helped me understand, to be smart with, the way I spend my money in the long-term events and like short-term.
So, Jonathan, I'm going to follow that up. How many students do you think at your age have that understanding of buying a house and car and budgeting?
With the curriculum they're probably doing right now, not a lot, because right now, because I heard from my friends in other classes and other algebra classes, right now they're doing just the textbook work right now, just the problems, A plus B squared equals C squared, whatever, just that stuff. And it's kind of not, it's not really, what's the word? Like, I forgot the word, but kind of like you want to do it. It's more like, okay, I'll do this because I want to get a grade.
It's motivating or just obligation?
Yeah.
Okay.
With the project, it's more, I want to do this project because it's interesting.
Okay.
With the work, it's more just, okay, I'll do this, but I really don't find this interesting.
Okay, thanks.
I don't know. It just, you gain something from it. More than just a good grade, you actually gain like life skills.
Nice. That's nicely stated.
That motivates you.